ladies and gentlemen, from the four corners of the world to the four corners of this ring, let's get ready to rumble!
Boxing store.
Best store in Europe. Boxing gloves, boxing shoes, shorts, anything boxing. Just started up a Muay Thai line, mixed martial arts, MMA, anything combat-wise.
They've got it all, so shop online or in store.
Champs Boxing Store is your people.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time you're watching and listening to this, and welcome to another episode of Behind the Bell, proudly sponsored by Champs Boxing Store and in association with the British and Irish Boxing Authority. Now, tonight we're joined by professional boxer Paul Pearce. Hi, Paul, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me.
Right, you've got a long list of titles, so instead of me trying to round them off what you've achieved in your career, can you just let us know what you've won over your career?
Well, I've had 18 fights as a pro. I started off under the British Boxing Board of Control. I had 4 fights under them. Obviously, as a journeyman, I had a good amateur background, but obviously, as you all know, the ticket sales and all that, just couldn't do it. Yeah, but we had 4 on the road, and then obviously we went under BIBA, and we've had another 14. So we've had 18 altogether. We've lost 6. 112, and we've got 9 KOs. To be honest, and when I talk about my record, I only ever mention the BIBA ones, but I am honest about my whole record. But with them 4 as a journeyman under the British Boxing Board of Control, I don't like classing them as fights because as a journeyman, you're not there to win, and I mean, it's hard to explain, but when I say I don't class them, I do and I don't. I don't because after them 4 fights, I joined BIBA because of Lee McAllister. And Lee McAllister made me go as a home fighter then, because he told me off, and he asked me after I boxed Leon Roberts, and he said, why are you a journeyman? Why are you wasting your time on the road? Like, you're obviously seen something in that fight to make him go, you can't be a journeyman anymore. So what I've done after them 4 fights, I joined BIBA, and Lee's looked after me since then. And obviously I've done really well. So my titles, I've got the PBC English, I've got the EBL European, the WBL European, I've got the PBC International, I've got a WBU World and a PBC World. So I've got 7 titles altogether.
Wow.
When I started as a journeyman, I'm not doing too bad.
That's it, mate. That's great work and a great turnaround. Like, it's people don't understand on that turnaround itself, Paul. Like, from being a journeyman to, like you say, you're an away fighter. You're not there to win. And then to turn around and then complete 360 and be an 8-time champ. Hats off, man.
To be honest with you though, I should never have been a journeyman. With the ability and the technical, like the amount of amateur fights I have 55 amateur fights. I should never have been a journeyman. It shouldn't be this hard for someone with the ability that I had, with the, with the experience I had going into the pros. It shouldn't be that hard. It shouldn't. Good boxers that have come out of the amateurs with good records, with good experience, should never have to be journeyman. They shouldn't. And I just had to because I didn't sell the tickets.
So what's next for Paul Pearce?
Well, I boxed, I don't know how much you know about me, but I boxed Scott Harrison behind closed doors.
Right.
He's one of the people who I do class as beat me because he stopped me with a body shot. Scott Harrison is on my kill list for next year. I want to box Scott, and I also want a rematch with Craig Kennedale. Now, I beat Craig Kennedale for the PBC English title. That was my first fight back after being a journeyman. Now, with me being a home fighter, it was very close. It was a very, very close fight. And because it was so good of a fight, I mean, my face was messed up. I loved it. But the reason why I wanted the rematch with that was because because it was so close and because he thought he got the decision. Now, at that time, I was in a bad place. I just lost my dad. I was moving from Liverpool to Orkney, where I live now. I hadn't done that. I hadn't done that much of a camp. So I think with everything that was happening, with all the, I mean, obviously losing my dad as well, I wasn't fight ready. I shouldn't have been getting in that ring then, with the state of mind I was in. But with everything that was happening, that got me through that fight. Now it sounds mad that, but the thoughts that was in my head during that fight definitely got me through them 8 rounds.
I understand you there, Paul, because when I was fighting, I had the same thing, like not losing my dad, but like I had the same sort of life of negativity, and I changed that, and I channeled that into the fight. So if you met me out in the street, well, I'm the most loveliest fella you'll meet, I'll buy you a pint. You know, like, but that. Them thoughts used to turn me into a beast. You used to turn me into an animal, and that I can totally relate to that, mate. I really can.
Well, yeah, they're the 2 fights I want next year.
Yeah.
I would like Scott for the WBF world title. Whether that can happen or not, I don't know. Are they going to allow it? I don't know, because he's only had since leaving the British Boxing Board of Control, getting beat by Liam Walsh. Scott's only boxed me. Obviously, yeah, he did win, but he's been so inactive since that fight, and I've had 4 since then. Can we make this fight happen? Probably. Is he going to be a bit greedy on what he wants? Probably. And I think something happened with in the last bill as well. I don't think he'd done enough tickets for the last show that he was meant to be on. And he let Lee down. I don't know exactly what happened, but he was meant to box for a Commonwealth title. And I don't think he'd done enough tickets, and I don't think he ended up boxing on that night. So I think there's a bit of an animosity in the air. But I do think we can make it happen. I'm hoping we can, because I want me revenge. I want to box him with a camp. I want to box him where I can get off this island, because, as I said, I boxed him behind closed doors, so I couldn't leave this island. And on this island I live in, there's no one for me to spar with, because there's never been a boxing club here until I started it. So I had to obviously train myself, and all I could do was run, hit a bag, and skip, and that's it. Couldn't do anything else. So I think he got I think he was lucky. I think he took lucky on that fight. Take nothing away from him. You know, he's an ex-world champion, and he's a really, really tough fella. But I think if I got a proper camp, I think I would beat him. I do, hands down, think I beat Scott Harrison.
So that's good then. So where did you do your amateurs?
All over the place. The only 2 clubs I never boxed for were Liverpool with the Solly and the Rotunda. I boxed for nearly every club in Liverpool apart from them 2. The minute I stopped fighting, I moved clubs.
Wow.
I just wanted to fight.
Yeah. Why did you decide to get into boxing?
Because my dad was a violent person. My dad was very violent when I was younger. He was very violent towards my mother. And I remember a leaflet going round when I was in year 5, just going into year 6 primary, and it was at I think it wasn't a boxing club. It was a fellow called Martin Benty. He was an old England coach, and it was him and Gary Jones. He'd boxed for England at the time as well, and he sent leaflets out saying that there was going to be, I think it was like a 12-week like, keep your kids active. Do you know what I mean? It was in the school, and they were going to show you the basics and blah blah blah. So I went. I'm not an angry person. I wasn't a violent person. So I don't actually know why I went to this, because fighting when I was younger wasn't me. So I think something's obviously made me go. So I went, and I never looked back. I got to the end of the like the term, where they were like, that was it. There was no more boxing. And Martin Benty said to me, why don't you go to a proper club? And I was like, nah, I don't want to. I don't want to fight. I've just obviously enjoyed this pad work and, you know, learning the basics. but he wouldn't let me go. He wouldn't let it go. So I ended up going to the Heighton Amateur Boxing Club and meeting a fella called Mick McElwee. So Mick McElwee took me under his wings, and I ended up boxing. When I had my first fight when I was 11, I'll never forget it. I was stopped on my first fight, but because I wasn't there to win, I obviously stayed there. You know, I got something out of it, but at that time I didn't know what I was there for. I wasn't a fighter, so I always put it down to because I couldn't do anything at home, and it was giving me that I was angry. I was seeing what was going on in the house was obviously affecting me in some way. So I think the boxing done it for me. But I ended up going on to having 55 fights as an amateur and only losing 7, sorry. 7. I won 48.
And working for both organisations, the British Boxing Board and BIBA, what's the difference you can see between both organisations?
Massive. It's massive. Obviously, the size is different. You know, the British Boxing Board of Control have been going for a while now, so they've got a lot more boxers. They've got a fair share of really talented lads, and now a lot of talented girls. I don't think BIBA yet are anywhere near the British Boxing Board of Control, but there is a massive difference between the two of them. Obviously, I've been around. I trained as a pro for years before I boxed, and I've been around a lot of people. I was with Chris Axton. I was with Steve Woods. I've been lucky to train with Matthew Atton, Ricky Atton. I sparred with the best of them when I hadn't even boxed as a pro yet, and I was sparring with the likes of Josh Whale, Josh Warrington, Tyrone Nurse. I was getting flown over to Tenerife to do camps with Liam Walsh, Ryan Walsh, Michael Walsh. I was sparring lads on a domestic level, sparring with Liam Walsh as he was preparing to defend against Joe Murray for his British and Commonwealth. You know, I was around a lot of people, but the difference is obviously size. The board have got money behind them. Let's not talk about the board. Let's talk about BIBA. So BIBA is very different in the aspect of it's very friendly. There's no corruption. As soon as you mention the board, you're straight away talking about Eddie Earn. You're talking about these same promoters putting on these same shows with these same people winning. In BIBA, you don't know who's going to win because even the journeymen turn up and journeymen win. Journeymen, and that's what I love about BIBA. It doesn't matter who you fight. You could get put in with someone, I don't know, let's say he's on a losing streak. There's still a very, very good chance you'll get beat by that journeyman. And the girls as well. The girls are the same. They're just 50-50 fights in BIBA. And all the promoters, he's talking about like Chris Boyle, Lee McAllister, Kyle Gallagher. They're all very, very fair people. There's not any shows that I don't go to. I don't enjoy going. I love going to them all. And I tell myself watching these shows on Sky and these BT shows, you know who's going to win. And they're all the same boxers all the time. In BIBA, everyone's getting a chance. And it's a shame because I wish there was a lump of money getting lumped into BIBA, or I wish more people or more promoters or more people who do the unlicensed shows would just give us the opportunity of putting BIBA shows on their shows. And I think what puts it off is this box rec situation. The box rec situation is annoying because, I mean, obviously if you look at my box rec now, my last couple of fights have been on box rec, but yet I'm not a professional fighter because I'm not on box rec, where 1 minute I'm boxing under box ranking and my record doesn't go up one. Like my last couple of fights, let's go on my last 3 fights. I boxed for the WBU world title against Samuel Lacrogo. It wasn't not on box rec. I knocked him out in the second or third round, can't remember. I flew out to Czech Republic 3 weeks later and boxed a 2-0 lad with 2 knockouts, and I knocked him out in the second round. Went on Boxer. As soon as someone comes to me and says, "Oh, why isn't that fight on then?" Or why is that? It's hard to explain. Anywhere out of the UK I fight goes on Boxer. In the UK, it doesn't matter whether I fight under BIBA or any other sanction. It's only the UK that it doesn't go on Boxer. I'm sick of trying to explain to people that I am a professional fighter. And it's the same questions all the time. Well, why aren't you on Boxer? But I am. But I have to go outside the country. Trying to explain to someone why I can only go on Boxer outside the country is infuriating. It winds me up. And I wish Boxer would just put the results on.
Yeah.
Everyone else in the world does. Why don't you? Go anywhere in the world, Ghana, Czech Republic, Poland, everywhere I've been, boxed all over the place. It's gone on Boxer. I boxed here, doesn't go on Boxer. So if I could change anything, I would never go back to boxing under the British Boxing Board of Control. Would I, when I was younger? I would do it again. Definitely do it again, but only if I knew what I knew now.
Yeah.
But if I had the choice of going with the boxing board or BIBA, knowing what I know, I'd definitely choose BIBA. 1,000,000%. And it is because of the people I have to deal with. There's no one I don't like. The boxers you meet, they're all genuine people.
I get that. So obviously, I've done a little bit of work. I didn't fight under the board, but I had my corners, my seconds license, and just like everyone, I see where you're coming from. I was like, compared to seeing what I see with you and JMP and Kelly and Gianluca, and seeing what I see at the board. It's two totally different things, and I'm loving BIBA's attitude, like their nature. It's not even their attitude; it's their nature.
Yeah,
like, I'm loving that, and if only boxing could across everything could be. Listen, we're not lumps at each other, but it don't mean that we hate each other. You know what I mean? Like, it's if only they can, if across the board in boxing in general, that can happen, but. It don't look like it. It's sad to see.
And the only thing that would need to change is the boxer situation. We're not in competition with the board. We don't even need to bother with the board. We just need that boxer situation sorted. And I do believe it's going to come. I really do believe it's going to come. It's going to come. I know it. There's big things happening with B, but I know that as well. There's a lot happening.
Yeah, no, obviously I follow Gianluca a lot, and he announced a couple of bits this week. Really excited for him, really excited for you all, to be fair, and to see what he announces and lets out very soon. But yeah, we can't wait if we can help as a media people with BIBA anytime. We are more than happy to help. With all you fighters as well. If any of you fighters want to come out and have a chat, and if you see us at a show and want to chat, a little interview, tell us. Do you know what I mean? Like we're very happy. We're here to support you. Like,
I always love a gym wag.
Yeah,
I love a gym wag with anybody.
What was is next year your last year? Did I say?
I would think so, mate. Yeah. I mean, I'm 36 now. You know, I'm getting on now. I've got 2 little girls, and again, I'm going back to where I live. I live on an island, and I have to go off the island to train. So the only fights I want now, obviously, I'm gonna put my life and my whole. I done a 12-week. I was away from my family. I've got an 8-month-old there. When the baby was born, I took that world title fight, and I took myself away to train with Lee McAllister. I don't want to have to do that again. And if I do, it needs to be worth it. So, yeah, I just got to last night. And I've got there's something I want to do as well. I've always wanted to do close protection. And I got sponsored. I got sponsored last year with a full close protection course. So I'm going down to the Darlington on the 9th of March. And I need to spend 28 days down there because that's the length of the course. So I'm going to do 28 days in March. I'm going to do my course. And then I'm going to come home. I'm going to probably spend a month with my family. And then I'm going to look at trying to get 2 fights in then. And then that'll be me. But I have just took a roll on with the BIBA as well. It's not been announced yet. But Rio has given me permission to say this on with you today. Rio has actually given me a role within BIBA called the Vice Chairman of Scotland. Now, within that role, basically that means that I'll have, he's written it out for me, so I'll just read it. Potential new licenses, holding interviews, overseeing events, including, obviously, once I've trained to do this, I'll be a qualified supervisor. I'll actively be involved in all aspects of BIBA's development within Scotland, including discussions with any new Scottish promoters and venues and inspections. So that for me, it gives me another sort of focus, because anyone that will understand this, what I'm about to say, if you've been a fighter for so long and all you've done is fought, I mean, not every fighter, I'm guessing it'll be every fighter. When I'm not fighting, when I'm not training for a fight, I get so depressed. I get down. I'm not angry, but like I'm down within myself. I'm just not myself. I mean, my missus always says to me, you're always this and you're always that. And my missus gets on my neck. So I know if I'm not around the boxing, or if I'm not doing something with the boxing, or if I'm not involved in something to focus on, I'm gonna be so down and depressed within myself, because there's nothing here. There's nothing here. So I'm very appreciative of Rio giving me this role. And especially when everything's announced with what he's going on about, it's going to be massive for me. It's going to be boss. So it'll give me another focus. So yeah, it definitely is going to be my last year next year. Yeah.
And is there a worry that because you know they're your last 2 fights, you're just going to go out and think, fuck it, I'm just going to go for it? Or now you've got something else to look forward to, are you just going to make sure that you do what you need to do?
Oh no! If this is going to be my last year, I want people to remember this last year. I want people to. This is why I want Scott again, because straight after I won that WB World Title, my name was getting mentioned on his Twitter. So if we can sort something out and Scott wants that fight, I'll be more than happy to take that, and I'll box the face off him, and then I'll leave the boxing, and then I'll be happy. So yeah, I'm gonna go out with a bang, but it's gonna be something to remember, and I want people to remember it by the performance, not another knockout. I haven't had a fight yet where someone's gone, oh my god, you boxed amazing there, because the majority of them, 9 out of 12 have knocked them out, and some of them have been good knockouts. But for me, you want people talking about the performance, not a knockout. I know everyone wants to see a knockout, but me myself, with the time and the effort I've put into the boxing, I'd get a lot out of it. Someone going, you boxed amazing there. When you done this and when you done that and when you slipped and when you rolled, I'd rather that than someone going, that was a boss left you. That.
The thing is, Paul, I totally agree with you. Everyone loves to see a knockout. But the actual boxing fans, I admire their work.
Yeah.
I admire the way they move, the way they slip, the way the way they get out the corners, and the things, the small tiny little things that go all right. Basically,
rare you hear people talking about someone's technical ability. It's very rare. You always, oh well, he didn't knock him out. Did he knock him out? Oh no, he never knocked him out. That's all I hear. It's just knockouts. I have not heard anyone talk about any. The last fight I heard someone talk about the technical ability was Josh Taylor and Jack Castle. That was the last time I heard people actually rating someone's technical ability.
See, that's the thing with me and Matt talk, because as you probably said before, I'm just a casual fan and Matt's the boxing guy. And I will say, oh, that person didn't do too well. And then they'll be like, what do you mean? And then list a load of technical stuff. And then I sit back and go, wow, you're right. Because as you said, I'm just looking for the hits and the knockout. I'm not understanding the actual technical work that goes into a fight.
Yeah.
I think you're right. I think people need to be more aware of the actual art form of boxing itself, rather than it's just getting in the ring and punching someone and knocking them out.
1,000,000%.
Right, we're going to move on to our last question. This might be a bit easier for you, as you said you live on an island, but if you was trapped on a desert island and you could only take 3 boxers with you, who would they be and why?
3 boxes. Oof. That's a tricky question, you know. I'd take Ricky Hatton with me, because he's just hilarious. I'd take Lee McAllister, because he's funny as well, and he's a good friend of mine. A third one, I'd take someone that would annoy Lee. Who does Lee not like? Oh, I don't know. I couldn't pick a third.
Just take them 2. Okay, that's fine. Well, Paul, thanks for joining us tonight. It's been a pleasure speaking to you. And we'd love to catch up with you halfway through next year, see how your last year's going.
Definitely, yeah.
I'm very interested in what when Paul gets that fight. Definitely wish him all the best, and his new role in with BIBA. Listen, like I could totally understand where you come from about when you don't fight. It is hard. It can be hard, and you still got to you still got to try and keep into boxing if you can, or even if you want to. But yeah, I wish Paul the best. Lovely guy, and I hope he gets the fight he wants.
And it sort of just goes back to what Joe Lucas said to us when we spoke to him. He cares about BIBA cares about the boxers while they're fighting and their aftercare for when they finish fighting. To give people like Paul an opportunity to stay in the organisation is a really good thing to keep people going, isn't it?
It's a lovely thing. At the end of the day, as boxers, we are family. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, we knock lumps. We heard in the interview. Yeah, we knock lumps out of each other. I don't mean that we hate each other. It's just the business that we're in.
Right. So last weekend we had a little title fight at some little arena in Tottenham. Matt, you was fortunate enough to go to the Mr. Fury and Chisora fight. It didn't play out how I wanted. Well, it did in my head, but my heart wanted Del. But how was it for you being there?
Absolutely amazing. It got me quite emotional, to be honest. It's not every day you get to see Tyson Fury in this country fighting. And yeah, he just, to be honest, I'm not annoyed with the fight. I'm annoyed with some of the fans. Listen, Derek Chisora ain't no fool. He ain't no fool. He's a world-class fighter. He give Usyk major problems. Now, people are going, no, it's a pointless fight. People have to have pointless fights to get what they want. Yeah, like Fury, for instance, his last fight was Dillian White in April. So he needed a fight to get that ring rust off.
I think Del performed better than the April fight.
Listen, he was down by the second, really. But people like Derek need to be saved from themselves. There was no way Derek was giving up. There was no way. And even at times, I see Tyson Fury look at the ref going, oh, how much more punishment am I going to give him? Like, that third fight are two totally different fighters in there. Like, they've matured. They're in boxing and out of boxing. Like, they're both matured men. Like, they were 2 totally different people, and I just think that people should give Derek a break there. Like, it was a nothing fight. Listen, you climb through them ropes, then you're in for a chance. One punch can change your life. If you look at my podcast, what I've done with you, Lee, on non-identity, that explains that. That explains one punch can change your life.
And not just, I don't think people are seeing the bigger picture. It was a nice full circle. Dell gave Tyson his opportunity all them years ago, and now Tyson's returned the favour. Like you just said earlier on, boxing's like a family. And the fact that they could do that for each other over the last 10 years, and it also showed how much they both matured from back when them fights happened, I think it was a nice moment, really. And it weren't a bad fight. As you said, Dell took a lot of punishment, but then Dell just showed how much of a warrior he actually is. And yeah, maybe he should have been pulled a bit earlier and stuff. And like you said, he needs saving from himself. He would never have given up. But it was nice the fact that all the years ago he gave Tyson an opportunity, and Tyson's returned the favour.
Listen, mate, like they're all there. They all got to get paid. It's a business. I keep saying this every podcast. Every podcast we do, boxing is a business. Like, and that's why everyone's got to get paid. Everyone's got to get paid. Everyone goes to work. Everyone's got to get paid. Like, people need to give Chisora a break on that fight. And Tyson, to be fair, you can only fight who's in front of you. No one else wanted to fight. No one else took it. Joshua didn't take it.
And if it is Usyk next, and like you said, it'd be April to nearly April. No matter how good you are, a year away from the ring, and then to go into a massive, undisputed fight would be a danger. So, as you said, it's good to get out and get the ring rust off. And Dell's a worthy opponent because he's in the top 10. And like you said, he's the only one that took it. So I think overall, it was more of a positive experience than the negativity it's getting.
100%. And can I just say, I was there for Tottenham. I was there at Tottenham. I won't explain where I was sitting because it's a bit personal. But Tottenham's hospitality was amazing. It was probably the best I've ever had at a boxing show. That was the best boxing show I've been to by far. Tottenham's hospitality was just immense. And if any of them are watching it, a big fat thank you.
We're off to the No Surrender event on Friday, our first ever road trip.
I know, yeah. I know.
Make it there. We haven't killed each other being locked in a car together for a couple of hours.
Listen, if you don't talk about shit boxing, as in not as in shit boxing, but as in stupid talk about boxing, then you'll be safe.
I was going to run down the whole January card with you in the car on the Misfits event.
Mate, listen, I'll be asleep.
Well, Matt, I would say have a good week, but I am seeing you Friday, so have a good couple of days. And we'll see everyone next week. Thanks for tuning in, and please remember to hit that subscribe button. It helps out so much. And if you do want to reach out to us and come and tell your story, please hit us up on our socials. Matt, take it easy, mate.
Cheers, mate. You too. See you Friday.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, from the four corners of the world to the four corners of this ring, let's get ready to rumble!
Boxing store.
Best store in Europe. Boxing gloves, boxing shoes, shorts, anything boxing. Just started up a Muay Thai line, mixed martial arts, MMA, anything combat-wise.
They've got it all, so shop online or in store.
Champs Boxing Store is your people.